Hello everyone and welcome to episode 92 of the Cherry Heart podcast. I'm Sandra and this is a crafty podcast about crochet, knitting, sewing and such likes. You'll be able to find the show notes for this podcast on my blog, which is cherryheart.co.uk. I've had a little menu shuffle since we last spoke, so you'll be able to find the little 3 lines at the top. That's where you find everything. That's got the menu and you can find the podcast link under there, or you can just click straight on show notes and that'll bring up all the posts with the show notes in. And I'll also put a little link below this video. If you're watching on YouTube, you can access it that way. Hello, by the way. How are you? How have you been? I know it's been quite a few weeks since I've last been here, so expect another seamless, flawless production from my wonderful professional self. But you know, that wouldn't be unusual, would it? To not have those things, so we'll just carry on. Also in that down bar below, I've started adding chapters to the video. So if you go down, you'll see listed sort of with a timestamp each thing that I talk about. So if you're if I'm talking about something that's not so interesting, you want to skip ahead to something, or if you want to find something, to rewatch it, like sometimes you're like, oh, what did she say about that thing again? You can find it easily. So hopefully that's something you're finding useful. I've been doing it for a couple of videos now, so I hope that's good. I think that's all the things I have to say at the beginning. Oh no, it's not. Instagram. You can find me on Instagram as Sandra Cherry HRT, because Sandra Cherry Heart wouldn't fit, so I had to shorten it. And I'm elsewhere around the web as Cherry Heart. Okay, that's it. That's all the, gumph out of the way. The beginning gumph is done. It's been an age since we were last here speaking, or I was speaking at you anyway. Yes, no explanation really, other than just life and slightly needing a break, I suppose. I wasn't planning to have one, but it just seemed to sort of fall that I did have one, as it turns out. But anyway, I'm back now, so I hope you've been alright. If you're a returning viewer, and if you're new, thank you for checking me out. It's lovely to have you here. There's sort of a few people who have been joining lately, and it's lovely to have you here, basically. So let's get on with it, shall we? I've got some other Podmin bits. I'll just get out of the way first. What was that about? Oh yes, just a little pattern update. I'm starting to convert some of my older patterns that I haven't done yet into American terms, so that's crochet patterns, obviously. Yes, anyway, what was I saying? So for my paid for patterns that aren't already converted to US terms, I've been working on doing that. So the ones I've done so far, I put a little update on my blog, but I know not everyone follows that. Let me just have to refer, because I can't remember, it's a little while ago I did this now. Okay, so I've turned into US terms. I've got a Diamonds and Tassels shawl, which is this one. I'll just pop a picture in for you so you can see it. I love this one. It's lace, but it's just really nice and easy to wear. But anyway, this wasn't supposed to be a sales pitch, it was just to tell you about US terms. So that is now available in US terms. And then there's my little strawberry scissor keeper. So it's just kind of a little strawberry, and I have a loop so I can hook it on my scissors, and I put my needles into the little strawberry so that they're always there, and just having something else on the scissors, because I don't know about you, but I'm always losing mine and they drop to the bottom of the bag and you can't find them, so this just makes it a little bit easier to hook them out, I find. And it looks cute, which is nice. So it's a very simple pattern, but just that's in US terms now as well. So if that's easier for you, hopefully that will be good. And the other two that I've done are the Granny's Christmas Tree Skirt, which looks like this, and also the Sophie Scarf. I really like this one, if I do say so myself. I just really like this one. but that is in US terms as well. And those two, the Granny's Christmas Tree Skirt and the Sophie, I've just given the pattern format a little revamp to bring it up to date. None of the information should have changed, and I haven't had anything through. I've had no messages to say that I've made anything, so it should all be fine. But it should, you know, the information hasn't changed, but the formatting has changed slightly just to bring it more in line with how my patterns look now, was the idea. So yes, so those four, if you've ever looked at those and you're used to using US terms and you thought perhaps you'd struggle with the UK terms, they've now been converted. So hopefully you'll find that helpful. And then I'm going to work back through my other page patterns and try and do it with some of the other patterns. I'll let you know. If anyone is particularly interested in one, but they really want the US terms version, let me know and I'll kind of bump that one up the list, because I'm planning to hopefully get to them all. It just might take me a little while, but yeah, I'm happy to sort of put ones that you particularly want up the list if that's helpful. Okay, I think that is enough Podmin for one time. Probably been recording for about 4 years already. I haven't actually said anything about what I've been making or what I've been doing in all this time. I've actually split what I've done. I haven't brought it all up because, although I haven't done masses, I thought it might be a bit much for one podcast. Oh, and I've also recorded a little bit of vloggy footage. So as usual, I shall stick that at the end. You know, usual mishmash of doggy walks and bit of pottering around the house stuff. So that will be at the end if you like that kind of thing. But let me show you what I've done. Some of it is here actually that you can see. Let's talk about this one first, the blanket, because if you've been here before you hopefully might remember this. Let me grab it. So the blanket, the ginormous blanket, was a work in progress. This is now, well, I'm going to say tentatively say that it's finished. Let's try and give you an overall shot. I'm just finding, the cat was laying on this over there, now I'm finding it. Here it is. Wow, it fills the whole screen. Not sure I can get back far enough to kind of fit it all in. There we go. So it's about my wingspan, I guess. And can I fit the bottom in? Not quite. And about that. Oh, it's quite wide actually for how long it is, isn't it? It's almost my wingspan wide as well. Yes, I've done it, I think. The only thing I haven't really done is a border, because I don't know what to do with it and nothing really quite looks right. Just give you a bit of a closer look. So it's just a granny striped blanket, obviously, in various different yarns. I picked out sort of everything that looked the kind of colours I wanted and just took it down to the living room and just picked out the ones that seemed to harmonise best. And then I had a few sort of scrappy bits, minis and whatnot that I've kind of shoved in as well. So the yarns that I know about, they're in my show notes is what I'm trying to say, but then there's other bits and bobs that I just popped in that I'm not too sure about, so I can't tell you absolutely everything that's in it. But you should, I can tell you most of them. And yes, for the border, all I've done is literally one round. That's the wrong side. Let's show you the right side. Is that coming up nicely? Just one round of grannies. And I was going to add more. I tried out a few things though and haven't come up with anything I like yet, but I just kind of quite like the simplicity of this. I'm not sure it needs anything else. I was thinking of like a cream something, but I don't want anything too lacy on it, just looks a bit wrong. So I don't know if there's anything I can do that I will be happy with. I might just leave it like this. I haven't woven in the ends of just this very last round yet, but as a kind of little mental note that I was going to come back and look at it and see if I wanted to do something else to it. But yes, I'm happy to have it done. I didn't especially enjoy making it. Well, you know, it's quite nice and sort of mindless and easy, so that was good. But it just felt like a bit of a slog, to be honest. I think because the colours, although they're perfect for what I want for the finished product, they didn't sort of really excite me to use. They're all, you know, once you've sort of established a mishmash of colour, and I kind of just sort of spread out these, this one's brown, sort of the darker sort of greys and browns, just so it was a kind of even, it's random but kind of evenly distributed, the light and dark colours. It sort of roughly goes. I had some creamier ones and then some bluey greeny ones and then a kind of grey and a brown. So I kind of just alternated the creamier ones and the bluey green ones and then shoved a darker one in every so often. But in no specific order other than that random guideline. So there wasn't that sort of usual excitement of, ooh, that's an exciting combo, because it was the same sort of colours. So yes, bit of a sort of slog to force myself to get it finished, but I'm glad I did, and I really like the final product, and yeah, I'm happy with it. It looks nice in the living room. I'll try and pop a picture in of it in the living room so you can see. But yeah, whether I'll do anything else to it or not, I don't know. I think that's all there is to say about that, really. I did do a different start for the beginning because I was lazy. Just trying to find the beginning. Yeah, that's the beginning. Just wondering how it looked. You know, does it look odd? I don't think it does particularly, does it? I just did a, instead of doing a chain and then working into it, I did like, you know when you do foundationless trebles, so you sort of make the, you just do treble stitches without a foundation chain. That won't make any sense if you've not come across them before, but there's a link to it on my, no, there's not a link to it. It's on my website, on my crochet tutorial website, which is called Crochet Corner, Cherry Hearts Crochet Corner. I'll link to it in show notes. I've got a link to this tutorial for it. So it's like that, but where you normally do that with consecutive trebles or US doubles, with consecutive stitches, I modified it so that I could do it with grannies, which I think it worked all right though. I think that's worked out okay. Yeah, so I'll have to sort of see if I can do a little video or tutorial or something to show you how I did that, because I mentioned it on Instagram and people said they would be interested to know. So I don't know. It's the first time I've used it, so I'm not sort of sure if it would be perfect for every occasion. It does sort of mean that where I've worked the border in, I don't know if you'll see this now, these sort of stitches, focus on that, these sort of stitches are kind of quite loosely spaced here, whereas, you know, normally you get a sort of triangle effect, don't you, where they're pulled in together, so it does alter the effect slightly. But you know, options, it would give you options, wouldn't it? Let's just put that back. Ooh, right. The other thing I have finished is some socks. What a surprise to regular viewers. Bit of a theme here with the bluey greens. Just wondering if you can see. Let's bring it up, see if you can. There you are. It's got a lightning bolt zigzaggy pattern on it. Don't know how well this is. Hopefully this is coming up well. It seems to be focusing on it. I made some socks. Just try to hold it at different angles to see which which shows it off best. Oh, maybe like that. Does that show it off best? Yes, a couple of years ago I used this design on a pair of socks. And it's just on the one side. I haven't got it on the other side. The other side is just plain. I have no idea what I'm trying to say here. Yes, I just quite like that design. So I did that design down one side, and a few people since have asked me about the pattern for it. So I've been meaning to write it up. And then I remembered I had this yarn, and I thought this might be rather nice to do another version for, get it written up and get it all checked out and everything. So I've done it so that they're footed, so if that's the right foot and the lightning bolt is going down the right of your foot, this is going to turn this round now on the video and it's not going to sound right, is it? But the other one is the opposite to it, so that's got it on that side going down. Okay, so the other one on your left foot is on the left side. So it's on the outside edge of both your feet, if that makes sense. And they also mirror, so they go like that rather than like that. Because, you know, details. Yes. So I quite like that it's, you know, it's a little bit more interest than a vanilla, but it's still mostly plain knitting, so it's nice and simple. Just a little bit of pattern there to keep you interested. Oh no, battery light's flashing, that's not good. Not had that issue before. We'll keep going till it conks out, I think. And I just did a different heel flap, which it's a slightly different way of doing the slip stitch on the heel. Get that to focus on that. So that looks slightly different. And it's a square heel turn with just a different slip stitch flap, which I quite liked, and just a normal rounded wedge toe. So the pattern for that is now out. I managed to get it up, is it yesterday or the day before? So that's on Ravelry and Love Crafts, and I've popped it on my little shoppy so you can find it over there. So you can find it over there is what I'm trying to say. So okay, those are all done. I wonder how long of battery life you get after it starts flashing at you. And the final thing I've done is this here, this shawl. Let's grab that. Ooh, look at that for brightness. So this is my Garters Ahoy shawl pattern, and I'm having a bit of a summer stash down at the moment. There's quite a few yarns in my stash I've gone through, and I've sort of cleared out all the ones that I'm in danger of falling out of love with, I think. Just that sort of first flash of, oh my god, I love it. It's just started to wane, and I want to use them while I still like them, you know. I don't want to go you know how it is, tastes change and you sort of evolve over time, and these ones are, a lot of them are brighter than I would probably choose now, or slightly more contrasty than I would choose now, or whatever it is, or slightly different shades. And although they're still lovely, they're things that I sort of feel myself less drawn to now, or alternatively, because I want to make things to wear mostly. You know, I don't mind having loud socks. I sort of pretty much don't mind from a sock point of view what colours things are. But if it's going to be anywhere else, I kind of not so drawn to loud colours to wear. And these are quite, as you can see, quite bright and loud. So anyway, I've gone through and just pulled out everything that I just think I couldn't really see myself wearing as like a, I don't know, next to my skin. Having said that, I've made something that I'm going to wear. But this one is 3 different yarns. Let me show you. So this first one at the top here is this, which is Junk Yarn by Kemper in her San colourway. So there's that one. Then I had, so this next mid one here is this. This is by Amy of Stranded Dye Works, and this is called Flamingo Legs. So I mean, it's gorgeous and I love it. But I want to make use of it while I still enjoy it. So there's that one, and then the last solid colour I haven't actually got any of left. The last sort of bit pretty much went in the tassels, and that was called London Cosmopolitan, the colour, and it's a Madeline Tosh sock. I think the London Cosmopolitan was an exclusive for Loop of London, so you might not be able to get it anywhere else, but that's just from memory. I'm not 100% on that. Yeah, so my original plan was I was going to stripe these 2 and then have this for the border, the orangey colour for the border, because it's, again, it was the brightest one and I just thought, I'm not really sure I can see myself wearing that. But when I striped these, you couldn't really tell that I was striping them, they just merged together, which was alright, but I don't know, I didn't love the way it looked. I kept a photo of it to pop in. So I did a little Instagram to sort of go, ooh, yikes, this is looking a bit bright, I'm not sure about it. And someone suggested doing a fade. So I thought I would give that a whirl. And here we are. This is what it comes out like as a fade. And it's so much better that way. Really happy with that. And someone also suggested, I'm not quite sure who it was, on the Zoom Knit Night, it looking like a sunset. And that actually really kind of sold it to me. I felt much better about the whole thing. It does. It looks very much like sunset colours, doesn't it? Sunset going down, like the other way up, I guess. Yeah. So I can see myself wearing it now, I think. Let's try it, actually. I haven't tried it on so far. I think, in all honesty, I'll probably mostly wear it in winter. So I have it on. The battery did run out. So for reference, 2 bars on the battery is not enough to record a podcast. Especially if you're going to faff around getting it all wrong at the beginning. I'm just going to go, oh, I'm a bit lopsided. Oh, that's quite nice though, isn't it? That's alright. I think I probably most likely, it's nice and warm, wear it in winter. So I guess my coat, you might only sort of see the light of it anyway. Just try to cover it up, see how that would look. Like that. I don't know. I quite like it. Yes, what was it? Oh, the other thing I was going to tell you, these are 4-ply fingering weight yarns, all these ones that I used, and I held them double. So this pattern, the original, is for DK, double knit weight yarn, but 4-ply held double works out at roughly an Aran or worsted weight-ish. So I went up a couple of needle sizes. I used 5.5mm as opposed to the, I think, 4.5 in the pattern. Yeah, so it's a little bit bigger than the original, but basically I kind of knit until I ran out of this one. Well, I knit as much as I could of this middle colour as well, although I did have a little bit left, as you see, so I could have perhaps done another row. I wish I'd done it in the middle actually, because this fades in really well, you can hardly see the transition, and then when the solid colour comes in, obviously you can see a bit clearer. But I've only got quite a small bit where it's just this. And I think I should have really thought about it a little bit more and made this bit a bit bigger. But because with a triangle, the rows are getting longer every time, and I wasn't quite sure how much I would need to fade it out. So yeah, now I know I could have sort of at least got a good few more rows in there. So I almost want to make another one so I could sort of see if I could work out slightly better distribution of yarns, but so that's 3 100-gram hanks of 4-ply yarn. So in terms of stash busting, I thought that was pretty good. The border, I sort of did about as much as I thought I could get away with the yarn I had. I knew I wanted to do tassels, so I left sort of a little bit. So the border probably isn't quite as thick as the pattern, as written in the pattern, but I just sort of stopped when I sort of did an amount that looked kind of reasonable-ish, and when I still had yarn. And then the original hasn't got tassels either. But I thought it looked good with tassels. I really like it with tassels. Kind of wish I put them on my original one now. Yeah, so I think that works. It's really simple, just garter stitch with this sort of kind of ribbed border. But it works really well as a fade. I really like it as a stash busting fade. And like I say, I'm quite tempted to make another one. I might do, because I've got plenty more yarn I want to use up. So for my summer stash down, I've made this project. I've made some socks, which I'm going to talk about next time, and I've got some other projects earmarked. So if you wanted to do this, what I would recommend is if you pull out all the ones that you're sort of not sure that you definitely want to keep, and sort of just lay them all out, because it helps you sort of put colours together. Well, if you've got the same problem I have, which is that I've got so many single skeins of yarn, and I'm starting to build up over here. Over here. I'm starting to build, there's a couple that I've got 2 skeins of, so they're good for shawls and things. And I'm getting a very tiny little collection of sweater quantities. I've only got 2. But I feel like I'm more interested in garments at the moment. Yeah, so a lot of the single skeins I haven't got anything to do with. I can make socks out of them, and I have, and I do, and I have many socks, and occasionally, well not occasionally, quite often I make mitts out of them, but that's it really. I look awful in a hat, so I very rarely make a hat out of them, and unless I happen to have ones that go together, you can sometimes do some striping or something. But I think just the way these speckles have faded really well, I'm thinking maybe the fade is the way forward, because then I could do I know this isn't new, but I'm always late getting on the bandwagon with things, but faded cardigans or faded jumpers maybe. I've got a few sort of scarfy, shawly ideas over there as well. There's possibly even a blanket, but I'm not sure. I just don't think I can face a blanket in a minute. After the slog of sort of doing that, and this other thing that I've got on the go at the minute, which I'm just going to show you in a sec, I'm just not feeling the big project at the minute. I feel like these socks were like a breath of fresh air because I kind of whizzed through them compared, and just feels so much better to get things done at the moment. Right, so the other thing that I've got to show you is my only whip of the moment, which is my Battenberg seat cushions. Again, if you were here before, you would have seen these. So this is based on my Battenberg blanket design, which is just colourful squares alternated with a neutral, white or cream I used, but some people are using like beiges or pale greys or things. Yeah, so I did a whole blanket about this in this design a few years ago. Loved it, absolutely loved it. One of my favourite projects, using 4-ply scraps. And now I'm just doing small little seat cushions. This is another one. So I've got 2 of these done, and I need 4. Oh, and so 2 done, and then I've got this one, which I started last night, which I haven't assembled. I sort of I can't talk. Wording is difficult, as my daughter always says. Yeah, so I did enough white squares so that I could see where all the colourful squares would go. I'd laid them all out in a pattern I liked, so I sort of did it so I could join them all, and now I've got to fill in all the gaps where the other white ones need to be. So that will finish tonight, I would think, so that would be good. Then I'll have 3 done, and then for the backs I'm doing grannies, and I've got 1, 2 of those done. So they're all different. I'm just randomising the colours again. So I've got 11 colours, so it's enough to do all of them once, and then I have to just do another one more to make it big enough. So I just sort of pick a random one that I didn't use too much of in the middle and stick that on the edge. So 2 fronts, 2 backs, halfway there. This project feels slow. This bit, I enjoy putting those together. That feels good because the squares are quite little and each one feels like a little accomplishment, and as you add the white ones, they will join together. I've got all my colourful squares made up. That's the ones I need for my last front. But yeah, it's felt like a bit of a slog doing these. They're just so big enough that it just starts to get a bit, the rounds start to get a bit long towards the end, and I get a bit, sort of quite a stretch to get one of those done in an evening. I probably could if I knuckled down and got on with it, but I keep procrastinating and picking up my phone or flicking through the TV channels or something to find something else to watch and not get on with it. Yes, so I've got 2 more of these to slog through, and then I've only just got to assemble them, and possibly see if I might have to line them depending on what the old inserts look like, and yeah, so that feels like a bit of a drag. I can't really be doing with working on it, but at the same time I really want the finished product, so I'm just going to have to slog on through and get it done. So I promised myself the other night if I finished my second granny square I could cast something else on, which I did do, which was for a pair of socks, and I'd knit a bit of it and then realised I'd twisted it all. You know, I'd done it magic loop and I twisted it and had to undo it all, so that was annoying. So now I might promise myself that I have to finish this one before I'm allowed to cast anything else on. I think just the granny squares on top of doing that granny blanket, it's just, I'm oversaturated with grannies at the moment and I'm a bit fed up with them. But never mind. Right, so no incoming goodies for me today because I've been good and haven't bought anything for ages. Oh, actually, that's a complete and utter lie, because you won't have seen it, will you? Because I bought it a little while ago. I do have incoming goodies. I take it all back. Incoming goodies are these beauties from Sherry Iris. Oh, I didn't tell you. Just quickly going back to these. It's the Starcraft Naturals yarn I'm using, which is a bamboo cotton yarn. I haven't got the label up here. That's not focusing now. Yeah, it's a bamboo cotton yarn, and if you haven't tried it yet, get yourself some and have a try because it's gorgeous. It's soft and it drapes beautifully, and it's just gorgeous. Comes in gorgeous, lovely chalky pastel colours and stronger colours too, but in the really nice subtle tones. Let me show you my little basket of colours. Those are the ones I selected. I'll pop a list, again, if you want the colours of all of these, it will be on my show notes. I'll list them all out for you because I don't know them well enough to name them all for you here and now. But those are the colours I've gone for. Forgot to say that earlier. Yes, so back to these beauties from Sherry. She did an update a little while ago now, and there's so many nice ones, but I plumped for these. And again, I'm trying to avoid the single skeins because I've got so many single skeins. Even after I had my sort out all the ones, I've still got these, look, and those up there. That's with all the ones that I've decided I want to get used up out. So I think I have enough singles. So I went for doubles. 2 even, and this is called Clematis Days. Sock weight yarn, 100 grams, 425 meters, and it's a superwash merino nylon, and it reminds me of rhubarb and custard sweets actually, but that's beautiful. So I don't know what that will be yet. That will be one that will be stored and no pressure to use because I really like it. But yeah, I want to get back to, oh look at that sort of darker streak in there. Oh, so pretty. Yes, I just want to get to sort of absolutely being in love with everything I've got stashed. Yes, anyway, that is enough waffle for me. I'm going to wrap it up there. So thanks ever so much for staying with me. If you're still here, thank you for sticking with me this long and listening to my podcast. Sorry it was so long. I shall try not to leave it so long next time, but you know how it is, things happen. But yes, thank you ever so much for watching, and I hope you stay tuned to watch some of my vloggy footage, and I'll see you next time. Bye!